Welcome to Office Hours. I am Steve Drost. With me, as always, we've got Will Kaplan, both, of course, from the Quivr team. What is Quivr? We are the CRM built by financial advisors for financial advisors. Our objective at Quivr is incredibly simple. How can we help you run your business at peak efficiency? Now, each episode, we tackle a couple of cool items that did come directly from our users who are simply trying to make their life just a little bit easier. Will, I was in a breakout room, which, good update on these, still have them mastered. But I came back and you're talking with Dylan. Dylan's the man, really cool guy. But I'm not even gonna fake acting like I know what you guys were talking about. Tell me, what were you guys talking about?
So Dylan has a need in his practice. I guess he works with a lot of clients that are using donor advised funds and contributing highly appreciated stock to those funds. And so a little bit of tax planning, a little probably diversification. It touches a couple of different of the CFP topics, but really what he's trying to figure out is, how do I track all this stuff? Like I want to know which clients are doing it and which clients are planning to do it and where we are and like how
Yeah,
I wrap my hands around this and get out of a spreadsheet and start using my CRM to
yeah,
do it. And I thought it was an interesting question because it's not something like it's not part of Quivr right now. It could be. I mean, we could pick it up at some point. I think there's a decent chance that eventually we will get to donor advised funds, but he needs it now. Like it's a big part of his practice. And this is one of the as you and I know, like this is one of the places where Quivr can shine because it's like, yeah, we don't do that right now. Let's figure out how you're going
yeah,
to do that right
yeah.
now. So
You're not gonna stop doing donor advised fund contributions for however long until we get it made.
yeah,
Well, this is also an interesting thing too, because Quivr, we just simply can't. You can't create a piece of software that handles every single thing for every single person. But what we can do is create a platform that allows you to tailor it to your needs, right? We have enough features and functionality out of the box where, I mean, there's a lot of ways he could attack this. I mean, the first one that I can think of is the easiest, like the elementary version of this. He could create a task template or a workflow, which all that is a templated workflow or something like that. And he could make the subject of that task large donor advised fund contribution. And if he kicks that off every time he does it, what he's now done is created a subset of tasks system wide, firm wide, that talk about every single time that's being done, which if we take this to the next level, and by the way, creating that template will take him all of 5 minutes.
right.
Then the second thing he could do is create a report, and this again will take all of 5 minutes. And if it takes him longer than 5 minutes, he can come to office hours and we will help him do both of these things. But I'm confident he won't need our help. But he can create a report, which is basically a query of data. And I actually can see in my head exactly what it would look like. You would filter it by all tasks in the system, open and completed, that have the subject, large donor advised fund contribution. You then get to click this little button that's really cool that groups all of those by household. So if let's say he has 50 households and he made 37 large donor advised fund contributions, he could click that button. So if households are doing 2 or 3, which they're probably not, but maybe they are, it's just one long list. He can then export that to Excel, get that to the correct CPA or whatever he needs. And I mean, yeah, that solution right there that's 15 minutes of work.
And what's fascinating about that is like you got your solution to that is something that I often use as well, where you're using the subject field of a task or a meeting or something to unify all of the types of those things. So we don't have like a task type subfield that says like, oh, this is for donor advised fund. But you can, by using a template, you can sort of ensure like, I'm going to name all of these the same. And so then when I go look for them later in a report, or if I want to try and somehow group them together with like a related list or like however you want to do it, you can use that like standardized subject as a way to filter things. We've used that for like reporting. I've used it for some of the more advanced flows that we've done for users where they'll like name a meeting the same thing every time.
Uh-huh.
And then we go from there and say like, okay, great. If the subject contains this specific phrase, do this other thing. Like it's just a really powerful way to do it. And then coming back to this example, the piece that you could also do, I mean, if this is a big part of his business, it's Quivr, man, go create a custom object, right? Like extend our functionality and really tailor it to your own firm where, QCD is a great example. Like it works in a very similar way where you've got to track very specific data. So you can go look at our QCD object, get a sense of kind of what the fields look like, and then build out your own custom object just for these donor advised fund contributions. So you'd be able to track like, what's the ticker? How much stock are you giving? What's the valuation date? What account is it going to? What account is it coming from? And then using like a related list to sort of embed that back into the household, you'd be able to then display that information once you tracked all of it.
Yeah,
So like,
and that's great. Everything you're saying. Now, this I think we'd align here. Creating larger customizations like that would be out of the scope of the normal Quiver support. We just simply can't do that. We'd have to charge way more every month. But you can learn it yourself. We teach you more or less a lot of it in the community. You can go to YouTube. You can hire somebody on Upwork. I bet Dylan could get that object built and placed where he wants it for, I don't know, $1,000, $500. You can
honestly,
find
like
70, 50. Even if you pay really good money to a US based developer, it's a 5 hour project, $150 an hour. You're somewhere in that range. You could find somebody cheaper. But like what you just said, now that you can get that data in there, the usability does go a lot farther. Whereas my simple one, which was getting it to a report, which you can do this in 15 minutes and for $0. I mean, now he can create custom deliverables, right? So our people that use tools like Cloud Files and Opero and things like that, he's not exporting things to Excel. He is pushing a single button, and that button is creating a PDF that appears to be on his letterhead that says, dear client, send this to your tax preparer. Below is a list of the major DAF we did this year. And he can have a table, or DAF contribution, and he can have a table that says ticker, basis, market value, date, blah, 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 account, receiving account, sending account, all of that stuff.
right.
And if you're doing that for 30 clients a year, that's worth $500.
That's just it. I mean, that's like the beauty of what Quiver provides is we're going to give you, like, we give you most of what you need, but if there's something that's really unique to your firm, you still have the ability to solve that problem because you're on the Salesforce platform. You can, unlike something where with some of our other competitors, you can only add some fields, you can add a whole new like spreadsheet table to track just really unique data that's important to you. I mean, I know another user created some custom fields around like the kinder planning process, where he wanted to capture a lot of that like unique information that doesn't really fit anywhere else per se, but like they have a very specific use for it. Great. Custom fields are the answer. Like go nuts. And so in this case, like, yeah, like for an average user where maybe they do a couple tasks in the phenomenal solution, it's easy. You just push a button, thing shows up. In Dylan's case, where he's saying like this is a really like a lot of my clients are doing this, it's a big part of my business, then great. Either go learn how custom objects work. Trailhead isn't a place you can learn from this. YouTube is a place you can learn from this. I mean, that's how I learned. I think it's probably how you learned originally too. Or to your point, like if you just don't want to mess with it, ProStone, you're going to find a Salesforce developer that's going to be able to help you with something in terms of building out that custom object. So yeah, it was
And while we're not going to build the custom object for Dylan, that doesn't mean we're going to just say, no, you can't ask us that question. So we had, I'm assuming you had a comparable conversation with him like this, and it's, these are your options. And I mean, I know developers that you can hire, developers that you can hire at the time right now, Quiver, we're not doing that work. We simply have to focus on the masses, and that's just where our resources are going. But yeah, it's great. And we're not telling Dylan no. And I think that's a very reasonable business decision that he now gets to make. Is it worth $500, $1,000 to get that output? Again, I would argue if that's a primary part of his business, the answer is yes.
yeah.
But no, that's great. Another example of how we can't tell our users no, even if we might want to sometimes. No, I kid. But no, good stuff. If you're a Quiver user, remember, join us for office hours Wednesdays, where we can help you with similar items. And this is an example where Dylan simply didn't know where to start. He didn't know what the possibilities were. He came, he asked a question, we gave him some guidance and direction. So now he knows what his options are and how he can proceed. And of course, if you're not a Quiver user, that is all right. Everybody makes mistakes. None of us are perfect, but it's not too late. Schedule a demo. Come meet me and Will. Come hang out. Come see what Quiver can do for you.